Early retirement is not freedom if the math doesn't love you back. I am Lady T, in for Citizen T. Here's the win we're after. By the end of this talk, you'll know exactly how to pressure test your early retirement plan, fix what breaks, and decide with clear eyes whether to go now, go later, or build a safer bridge. That's how we win. No delusion, no drift, just a plan that survives contact with reality. A quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. Use this as perspective, not instruction, and always do your own research. Let's start with the uncomfortable part no one on the beach with a laptop thumbnail wants to say. Retiring early makes your life smaller before it makes it larger, unless you build enough cushion to buy back risk. That's not a vibe, it's physics. You're trading a volatile asset, your future time, for an uncertain yield. If the numbers don't clear the bar, the dream becomes a trap. Clear statement of reality. Markets don't care how hard you work to get here. They will not protect your feelings, your timeline, or your hashtags. So we're going to do this like adults. No hype, no mysticism, just a clean model you can run in a weekend and decisions you can execute on Monday. One framing note before we go. Ownership-based pay, OBP, shows up here as a lens, not a lesson. If you end up staying in the game longer, the point is to tilt toward roles, projects, or arrangements that move you from pure wages toward ownership and cash flows. You don't need a sermon about it, you need a compass. Now, the core financial principle we will build on is simple and non-negotiable. Your spending rate must be safely below your reliable income, with a margin of safety that survives bad sequences. Not average returns, sequences. Average is a fairy tale, sequences are your life. Plainly, if you plan to pull 4% every year, but the first 3 years are negative or flat, your portfolio can shrink so much that 4% becomes 6% of what's left, then 7%, and the spiral starts. That's called sequence risk. It's gravity for early retirees. Here's the test I want you to run. Clean, direct, no hedging. First, define your floor. The floor is everything you must cover to stay intact. Housing, utilities, food, transportation, baseline healthcare, connectivity. Not your vacation, not your, well, it would be nice, just the floor. Second, define your risk-free or risk-reduced income sources. Pensions, annuities, Social Security if you're near the age where it's predictable, and cash-like ladders you can actually count on. If it fluctuates wildly, it doesn't belong here. Third, calculate your gap. Floor minus reliable income. That gap is what your portfolio must fund, year after year, through storms. Now pressure test the gap 3 ways. Scenario A, flat markets for 3 years while inflation runs hot. Can your portfolio fund the gap without selling depressed assets at the worst possible time? If not, you don't have a plan. You have a countdown to compromise. Scenario B, a 25% drawdown in year 1 and a sluggish grind back over 5 years. Do you have a cash buffer or a glide path that lets you keep eating without reverse compounding your future? Scenario C, personal risk hits. A medical scare, a broken car, a family obligation. Can you absorb a lump sum hit without torching your floor? All 3 are normal life. If your plan only works when everything goes mostly right, it doesn't work. Disruptive truth woven into this. Many people are not retiring early. They are resigning into low-paid self-employment and calling it freedom to avoid admitting they still need income. If you're going to work anyway, you might as well design work that compounds. Equity, royalties, profit share, so each hour purchases future calm. Let's fix what breaks. If the gap is too large, you have 3 levers. Spend less, earn more, or delay. I know that sounds obvious. It's also complete. There is no 4th lever that doesn't involve luck. And luck is not a lever. Spend less, correctly, means attacking recurring fixed costs, not starving joy. Trade car payments for durable, paid-off reliability. Negotiate insurance. Refi only if total lifetime cost drops. Trim subscriptions you won't notice in 14 days. The win isn't frugal aesthetics, it's structural. Every dollar you rip out of fixed monthly spend raises your freedom multiple. Earn more intelligently means income that stacks instead of resets. Licenses that raise your rate. Skills that apply across industries. Work that leads to ownership slices or revenue shares. If you must work, build something that keeps paying after you stop touching it. Delay strategically means buying time to build a stronger floor. Eliminate the last debt. Fund a proper emergency stack. Lock in healthcare coverage that won't wreck your budget. And accumulate a cash bridge that absorbs the first rough years. Here's the micro-timed shot across the bow. If your plan collapses when the market breathes, you don't have a plan, you have a wish. Constraints are real. Time is not infinite. Markets will not arrange themselves around your goals. Healthcare is expensive and unfair in its timing. Uncertainty is the rule, not the exception. Say it out loud so you can plan around it. Now, let's make this operational. 3 moves. Simple, not easy. Move 1. Build a 2-bucket floor and upside structure. Bucket 1 is your floor bucket. This holds 2 to 3 years of your gap in cash-like instruments, high-yield savings, short-term treasuries, or a ladder of CDs or T-bills maturing monthly. Its job is not to impress you. Its job is to buy you time. 2 to 3 years is long enough for many bear markets to resolve, and short enough to not drown in opportunity cost. Bucket 2 is your growth bucket. Broad, low-cost equity, and, if appropriate for you, a measured fixed income sleeve. You do not harvest from here when it's underwater. You refill bucket 1 from gains when markets are favorable. When they're not, you live on the floor bucket, calmly, without selling low. Move 2. Pre-decide your throttle. Write a 1-page rule set. At portfolio drawdowns of 10%, pause discretionary travel. At 20%, cut elective spending and side income becomes mandatory. At 30%, you throttle withdrawals to the floor only and bridge with part-time work or temp contracting you lined up ahead of time. Pre-deciding saves you from panic in the moment. Move 3. Design a small, sturdy income stream you can turn on. Not fantasy. Not I'll launch a brand. Something you can activate in 30 days. Industry consulting, short-term contracts, certified gig with a real rate, niche service you can do from a laptop without begging an algorithm. Even $1,000 to $2,000 a month changes the math dramatically because it replaces high-tax withdrawal dollars with earned income and preserves capital during storms. Let's talk healthcare, because this is where a lot of dreams go to die quietly. If your plan ignores premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket max, and the reality of a bad year, you're not planning, you're wishing. Price it, annualize it, stress it with a worst-case out-of-pocket year, then make sure your floor bucket can absorb it without breaking. Taxes. Model your withdrawals after taxes, not before. Maximize the order of operations. Taxable accounts with long-term gains first, then IRAs in lower brackets, Roth last if you can help it. If that sentence felt like homework, good. Homework now is freedom later. Sequence risk again, because it's the killer. If you retire into a bull market, you'll think you're a genius. If you retire into a bear, you'll wonder what went wrong. Nothing went wrong. You met math. This is why the floor bucket exists. It buys you the one resource markets eventually pay back: time. Now the psychology, which is where smart people lose. You don't need motivation, you need guardrails. Set a review cadence, quarterly works. At each review, you check 3 things. Is my floor still funded for 2 to 3 years? Is my spending rate under my rule? Is my throttle plan still realistic based on life right now? If yes, proceed. If no, fix one thing by the end of the week. What about the dream? The slow mornings, the road trips, the hobby that becomes a craft? Keep it. Just don't let the dream set your withdrawal rate. Let the math set your withdrawal rate and fit the dream around it. You'll like that future more because it survives. Some of you are thinking, but I'm behind. I don't have enough to do any of this. You do have enough to start. If you're working, you can create a mini retirement rhythm. Fund 6 months of essentials in a boring cash bucket. Pick one skill that raises your rate within 90 days. Build one micro income stream you can turn on. As you stack those, you'll discover something. Agency is addictive. It replaces anxiety with options. Let's address fairness. No, the system isn't fair. Yes, some people start with a head start. But here's the pivot that keeps you dangerous. It's not fair, and you're still responsible for your choices. Those are not contradictory statements. They're both true, and holding them together is where adults live. If you decide to delay retirement after this, that's not defeat, that's discipline. Use the extra years to buy more floor, shift more of your work toward ownership, and harden your household systems. Transportation, home maintenance, health routines, so they don't explode the minute you step off payroll. If you decide to go now, go like a pro. Cut the fluff, lock the floor, pre-decide the throttle. Have income you can turn on without drama. Tell your future self, I will not sell low because I prepared. If you realize early retirement is not for you at all, that's also a win. There is courage in saying, I like my craft. I want the rhythm, the team, the impact. Optimize for dignity. Negotiate ownership exposure where you can. Automate investments, shore up health, and schedule breaks that feel like retirement in seasons instead of forever. You didn't lose, you chose. One more sharpened line for your pocket. Hope is not a hedge. Cash, skill, and time are hedges. Let's put this into action tonight. 3 concrete steps. 1. Map your floor. Write the monthly number for essentials, just the floor, then multiply by 24 and by 36. Those are your cash or near cash targets for a 2 or 3 year buffer on the gap. If that number scares you, good. It shows you where power lives. 2. Run the stress test. Apply the 3 scenarios: flat with inflation, 25% drawdown, life hit. If you don't like the result, pick the smallest fix with the largest impact. Cut a fixed cost, extend your runway by 6 months, or schedule one conversation this week that could raise your earning power. 3. Draft your one-page throttle and post it where you'll see it. If this, then that. No drama, no emotion, just the rules you chose on a calm day to protect yourself on a chaotic one. I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. I'm here to hand you the controls. Agency is the antidote to anxiety. When you can describe your floor, your gap, your buffer, and your throttle without looking at your notes, you'll sleep like someone who earned it, because you did. If this helped, if it cut through noise and gave you handles, like and subscribe. We're building people who can't be shaken by a bad month or a loud headline. A quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor and this isn't financial advice. Use this as perspective, not instruction, and always do your own research. We are Citizen T. Forge the future. OBP is the way.